Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Zaku News here on the USA Gundam TV channel. It's Monday, June 21st, and we haven't had a bunch of news for a while, but then finally we just recently got some more exciting news to talk about. So it's time for another episode, and we're just going to get right into it with the main big news that we've had out recently, in that we're getting a brand new Master Grade kit from the Gundam Seed line, specifically a new Gundam Seed MSV manga that's going to be coming out called Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Eclipse. And so the new Master Grade is going to be under the same name, the Master Grade Eclipse Gundam, coming out in August for 5,000 yen. So it's a new Gundam from the Gundam Seed universe, and it has some really interesting features in it. Number one, it transforms, which is not too common among the Gundam Seed Gundams. So a lot of people were instantly comparing this to the Gundam Aegis, which has a kind of sort of similar transformation. But what this actually transforms into is, I don't know, it's a much more sort of like a ship or a sort of thing anyway that it transforms to. Anyway, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty unique, no doubt. Actually, the design wise, looking at the Gundam, it immediately reminded me of the Kasi Gundam, actually, sort of like a Gundam Seed version of the Kasi, sort of, just in the, it has a lot of white, and it has a lot of like really extreme angles and like long pointy feet and everything, so big shoulders, all that. So anyway, but that's going to be coming out. And then the other interesting feature about that is that it's going to work with like all of the different Seed backpacks. So any of the striker packs used by the Strike Gundam, those will work. Also, the wizard packs used by the different Master Grade Zaku Warrior kits, those will all be compatible with this as well too. So it'll be wide open for a lot of different backpacks if you have a particular backpack that you want to use with that. So that's cool. And then in related news, there was also a teaser for a premium Bandai expansion pack for this, specifically for this Gundam. But we don't have any news about that other than just this one image for it, which we can see there. And so I'm guessing some more news about that will be coming probably pretty soon, what exactly that expansion pack is going to be. But there'll be another new backpack coming out for that. So that'll be coming out in August anyway. The Gundam anyway will be coming out in August. The expansion pack probably shortly after that. So pretty exciting to be getting a new Master Grade from Gundam Seed. And then aside from the Eclipse manga that's going to be running in the Gundam Ace magazine there in Japan, there is also a new movie planned as well too, but we don't know if it's related or anything about that at all. They did also tease that there is going to be some more new kits coming out as well too, but we don't yet know what those are going to be yet, so more on that later, I guess. But before we get into the rest of the new kits and stuff that we're going to talk about today, we're just going to go off to the side here a little bit and talk about also a new metal build announcement. Metal build Gundam Dynamace Repair 3. It's going to be coming out next month for 23,000 yen. This is actually something that I think has been known for a little while, but just another heads up on this. It is a super cool design. I really wish that this was actually coming out as a Master Grade, even if it was P-Bandai or something like that. I mean, it's probably what it would be if it was a P-Bandai variant of the Master Grade Dynamace Gundam, but it's a really cool design. Hopefully maybe someday we'll actually get a kit version of that. Not sure how likely that'll be now with the metal build coming out, but if you're a fan of that design, at least the metal build will be available to you guys. And another thing kind of interesting that's going to be coming out is also a new Gundam marker set. If you guys use Gundam markers at all, Gundam marker MSV set is going to be coming out in October for 1,500 yen. So some really cool colors in there. I mean, if you're an MSV fan, then that might be something you might be interested in checking out. Now, getting back to the actual kits, so some exclusive kits we'll go over here first. The entry grade ARC 782 Gundam American type is coming out in October for $9.99, because this is coming out in America only, as you might expect based on the obvious American flag color scheme on that. So it's just something to release in America, specifically for the American audience. If you really want a super American Gundam, then there you go, you can check that out. I'm assuming a lot of the stars and stripes and everything on there is all just going to be stickers, so if you're not a fan of stickers, that's just going to be stickers all over the place on that thing, obviously with it being the entry grade. And then another version of the entry grade also going to be coming out as an exclusive, but this time over back in Japan at the Gundam base Fukuoka, specifically, apparently. Only in Fukuoka, the entry grade ARC 782 Gundam painting model version coming out in June, although it's not out this month, I should say, for 700 yen. So this is something that they've done with a couple of models before, making a painting version. Basically, the kit is made just in all white, basically, and then like the gun and the joint parts are in gray still, but all the armor and everything else is white. It's just made like that specifically so that you can just paint it easier, I guess, if you don't want to use primer or otherwise. I mean, if you use primer, there's not really too much of a point to that, but that's the gimmick of that. If you want it all, or you could just keep it all white, I suppose, an all white version and not paint it. But there's that. Also coming out from Gundam Base Fukuoka is a HGUC Gundam Mark II 21st Century Real Type version. This is also, should note, using the Mark II Revive kit, not the old HGUC kit. But this is coming out also this month for 1,700 yen for this one. And I gotta say, pretty cool color scheme for the Gundam Mark II. The Gundam Mark II is a design, sometimes I like it, sometimes I find it a little bit boring, to be honest. But this color scheme is pretty interesting for that. I do quite like that color scheme on this kit. It's a great looking kit, and it's a great kit in general, and it does look really nice in those colors. So that's coming out there in Gundam Base Fukuoka. Now, just regular P Bandai stuff. We have a P Bandai collaboration here between the HD Char Zaku as well as the entry grade Conan kit, Edogawa. The Conan Edogawa entry grade kits. You'll be able to get this as a set of them together, and they're specifically colored, so the colors for both kits are changed, different from normal. This is coming out in next month in July for 3,000 yen. There's also some custom sticker markings and stuff for the Zaku as well too, so it's a thing. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Conan at all, but if you guys are, it might be something worth checking out. Then we have the P Bandai HG After Colony Leo S. This is a design from G-Unit, from the G-Unit series. This is coming out in September for 1,800 yen. It's a pretty wild design. The head really reminds me of a kind of Metroid, actually. When I first saw this, it just kind of reminded me of like a Leo crossed with the Metroid Samus suit, and then like with the kind of knight's cape on it. So kind of very interesting look to the kit, certainly. But once again, it's something coming out from G-Unit, which, again, I'm always happy about. I'm really glad that they're making these kits from G-Unit, but it just seems like, at least for me personally, they're making all the G-Unit designs that I don't like first. So hopefully someday they'll keep up this trend of making P Bandai G-Unit kits, because hopefully maybe eventually they'll get to a design that I really like, and I'll be super excited about it. But the Leo S, I don't know, not really maybe for me, but it's a pretty wild design. If you're into that aesthetic, I think that's definitely one you're going to want to check out. The P Bandai HGUC Messer is coming out in a couple different variants here. The Messer F02 coming out as a commander and a non-commander type. So for the commander type here first, we'll take a look at that one. Is coming out in September for 3,000 yen. The differences with this one, obviously the pink and purple color scheme, but aside from that, it also has a commander antenna on the head. Optional different backpack as well too. You have what looks like both backpack types available there, so you can choose which one or the other you want to use. And also comes with additional armor for the legs, so giving it much more kind of like dome shaped legs at the bottom, or Gelgoog sort of like that, bell bottom style legs on that. So you have those added parts in there aside from just the color swap. As for the non-commander type, just the regular Messer F02, you're getting the commander antenna and the parts for the legs, but no optional backpack, it looks like, with this one. And it's 100 yen cheaper, so it's also coming out in September, but for 2,900 yen. So I'm guessing that 100 yen difference is for the fact that you don't have the new backpack parts with that one. So if that's something you want, you can check out the commander type or non-commander type, both of which, I mean, the new leg parts on those look really cool. So I do really like that aspect of the design. Wish that they would have come with some sort of different weapon as well too. That would have been nice. But also, we have a P Bandai HGUC Bondadoc Gates Kappa Colors version coming out in October for 5,000 yen. This one, strictly a color swap, that's all. So it's just a color swap to the gray color scheme of the Bondoc. There's no difference between them. They come with the same weapons and accessories and everything in there, so it's just a color swap difference. But as you guys know, I really enjoyed that kit. I had a lot of fun painting that kit. I highly recommend that kit if you guys haven't ever picked it up. If you prefer the gray color scheme and you don't paint, then it might be something worth checking out, definitely. But definitely check out the kit either way, one way or the other. It's a really cool kit. Then a few more here. The P Bandai HG The Origin Zaku Desert Type Double Antenna Specification version here, coming out in October for 2,400 yen. I love this because I love MSV, different stuff like this, and the Zaku The Origin kits, are very great. So everybody knows that those kits are good, solid kits, highly detailed, nice articulation, everything on them as well too. Looks like it comes with some nice weapons and accessories for that, so that'll be a really nice one in the new double A double antenna type head also looks very cool. The P Bandai Master Grade. This is the only kind of P Bandai Master Grade announcement that we had to talk about here. Is the P Bandai Master Grade Gundam F90 Mission Pack W type. So yet another mission pack here for the F90. This one coming out in October for 2,000 yen, and this one is one of the packs that they're releasing on its own. So a lot of the packs have come out as like just the L type and the O type together like that. I'm just making that up for example, but this one is only the W type, as it does have a lot of parts going in there for that. It's got some effect parts in there as well too for this, so it's pretty interesting. It kind of makes the Gundam sort of transform into a kind of Wave Rider or sort of like flying form as well that you can do with that. So it looks pretty interesting actually. This pack's not the wildest pack. They've come out with some pretty wild, like crazy designs. This one's kind of a little bit more down to earth, I guess, if you will, as far as the design goes. It's not quite so crazy, but it definitely looks pretty cool. Alright, so then the other main point of news that we need to talk about here today, which will include some more P Bandai stuff, but also a lot of non-P Bandai stuff that's going to be coming out, is related to Gundam Breaker. So Gundam Breaker, they're making a new anime that's set to start in the fall of this year, and it's just going to be directed by Masami Obari, which is pretty interesting. And so this is going to be, obviously, I would assume, just kind of based on the game. It's going to be kind of similar to the Build Fighters, Build Divers kind of thing, I would imagine, where it's just kind of about custom Gunpla fighting and things like that, because that's the whole thing with Gundam Breaker, right? So just to go over the P Bandai releases that are going to be coming out, basically we just got a bunch of announcements of a bunch of HG kits that are going to be coming out from this new series to start off with. So the P Bandai announcements related to this, first off, are there's no specific release date set for any of these yet, I will say, but the P Bandai HG Gundam Breaker Wing Gundam Sky Zero, coming out for 1,700 yen. This is basically just a recolor of the Wing Gundam Zero HG kits, so nothing really too different about that. Really cool colors though. I do like that Gundam now in that new color scheme. Does look pretty nice, pretty cool. The P Bandai HG Gundam Breaker Gundam Astray Red Frame Inversion, coming out for 1,800 yen. This is basically just another kind of color swap for the most part for this one. I don't think there's too much really new about this, but it's the red frame, obviously, with just the dark color armor instead of the normal white armor on that. Also, I mean, pretty cool look for the Astray there. And the P Bandai HG Gundam Breaker Goof Crimson Custom, coming out for 1,800 yen. This one, again, just a straight color swap of the HGC Goof Custom, but now it's in red, and it looks cool. I mean, the Goof Custom is an awesome design, great kit, and it looks good in red, so that one's going to be good. And also the P Bandai HG Gundam Breaker Ground Type Gundam Urban Warfare Specification. This one's coming out for 1,900 yen. So this one basically kind of taking the color scheme of the HG The Origin, Urban Warfare, what was it, like the FSD Gundam or something, and basically applying that color scheme and decal scheme onto the Ground Type Gundam HGC kit. So that's, again, nothing really new with that, just different colors, different markings. But again, the Gundam does look really cool in those new colors. So now getting to the actual standard release stuff, not P Bandai items that we'll all be able to get our hands on without any issue. The HG Gundam Breaker Gundam Helios is going to be the first one coming out in November for 2,300 yen, which is basically sort of a mix of Destiny, Double X, and Freedom Gundam. It's like an inverted Freedom Gundam's backpack, and then like the body and head and hands and stuff is made up of Destiny and kind of Double X parts all kind of going together in there. And it makes pretty cool. It's in like the same color scheme basically as like the Artemis Gundam, which is kind of interesting why they still have never made an HG Artemis Gundam from the mobile game. But I'm sure probably at some point they probably will. But this one's going to be coming out, and it looks pretty cool. And also they've advertised it that I guess all the clear parts on it are going to be UV sensitive, or like extra UV sensitive, I guess maybe. So if you have a UV light kind of display or something for that, then all the clear parts will glow, and that looks pretty nice on that one as well too. So then also coming out in November is the HG Gundam Breaker Gundam Live Lance Heaven, which is basically a kind of white color scheme kind of variation of the Death Scythe Hell, coming out for 2,000 yen, which is pretty interesting because we don't have an HG AC Death Scythe Hell kit yet, so this could be a sort of teaser for that kit maybe coming out at some point in the future as well too. Hopefully they'll actually make the Shenlong first for those of you guys who want to complete your set of like Wing Gundam kits there. But yeah, it'd be cool if they made Shenlong and then they went on to make some of like the sort of second season, like the Death Side Hell. And I guess it's the only one after that that wanted to also be the Ultron, which they kind of already made that. There was that Build Divers or Build Fighters kit that was also kind of having some Ultron parts kind of to the design too as well, right? So yeah, I don't know. Maybe after the Shenlong, they'll also make the Ultron and the Death Scythe Hell. That would be cool. Anyway, it seems probably like that could happen. But this on its own, I mean, is a pretty interesting design. I think that one is going to be a pretty cool one to check out. Then also coming out in December, we've got the HG Gundam Barbatoros coming out for 2,200 yen, which is obviously based on the Barbatos, but now it's a centaur type four-legged design here. Pretty interesting. Not really my personal cup of tea, but I'm sure this is going to be a popular one. Everybody loves Barbatos, and also there are a lot of people who would be into this sort of centaur kind of design. So I'm sure that will be a pretty interesting, exciting kit for a lot of people, no doubt about that. Then also the HG Blazing Gundam coming out in December as well too for 2,000 yen for this one. This one is also a very interesting mix of design parts of the God Gundam sort of, and then also like it has the sort of baton weapons of the Shadow Gundam as well too. So it's kind of very G Gundam themed design here. But it's got like the God Gundam's like arm gauntlets are now on the ankle armor, and the backpack parts are now on the forearm. And it's very wild. It's a wild design. But if you're a fan of the God Gundam or a fan of just like G Gundam style designs, I mean, it does look pretty cool. And it's not only using like the baton weapons of the Shadow Gundam, but they also double as like beam sabers as well too. They have beam sabers that come out of them. So pretty wild, and also has a clear option parts for the foot for doing a kind of kicking with a clear foot pose there, as you can see. So that'll be interesting. Then the HG Gundam Perfect Strike Freedom coming out in December as well for 2,300 yen, which is, I mean, as the name would imply, it's sort of a mix of the Strike and the Strike Freedom in that it has all the funnels of the Strike Freedom and also has it's just the Perfect Strike, so it has a bunch of different weapons and a bunch of different combinations and things that you can do with the weapons and the Dragoons and all of that. Did I say funnels before? Dragoons. Anyway, so it looks like a kit that's certainly going to be packed with gimmicks, as there's a lot of different combinations you can do with the sword and the gun and the Dragoons and all this kind of stuff that you can all put in all sorts of different combinations. So that one also looks, I mean, if you're a fan of the Strike Freedom, a fan of the Strike Gundam, it's going to be right up your alley. And then the last one here is the HG Gundam Breaker Gundam 00 Command Quanta. So this one is coming out in January of next year for 2,000 yen. So yeah, basically a mix of the Quanta with the Command Gundam, which we have never gotten an actual like a full-size kit of that. It's a SD Gundam design. So it's a really interesting mix, which the Command Gundam is sort of like very UC in its design. So mixing kind of UC aesthetics with 00 Quanta aesthetics is kind of wild, but it looks like it's actually going to be pretty cool in its design. This one as well too comes with a lot of different weapons and stuff like that with this, so that'll be interesting. Different sword and missile launchers and stuff, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it'll be a very interesting design, taking two designs that are quite different and mashing them together. I think they've done pretty successfully, actually, to be honest. So props to Bandai for that design. That is going to be it for today. So we had a lot of exclusive stuff, a lot of P Bandai stuff announced, kind of as usual for these days. But there is some pretty interesting stuff coming out with the new MG Eclipse Gundam, as well as the new HG kits coming out from the new Gundam Breaker series. So some interesting stuff coming out on the horizon, and just looking forward to some more announcements as for what we can expect for like the last couple months of this year for any other larger kits or anything like that. There's still some gaps that I think are still going to be filled, I would imagine. So interested to see what those are going to end up being. But for now, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for checking out our store at USA Gundam Store. As always, the link will be down in the video description below. So thank you all so much for your support there as well. Until next time, guys, hope you're all having a great day. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.